I just have to share this with you. I want to start out by making a soft white medium. So what I'm going to do is just squeeze out a bunch of white on my little container here. I just used a cover because that seems to work really well. And then what I want to do is add just a little bit of, this is linseed oil, water mixable linseed oil. Now you can use a ready-made mix. You don't have to do what I'm doing here. It's just this is what I like to do. Okay, so then what you do is just go ahead and mix that together. And what you want to do is just mix it until you get a nice creamy consistency. It actually is about the consistency of cream that you would use in your coffee. And so now I have just spread it all over my canvas and I'm ready to go. I'm going to start by making just a little bit of a horizon line here. Let's see, let's make that a little blue-green. I want to go a little below center. So we'll go, right about in here. This is going to be the horizon. You can use a synthetic if you'd prefer, but this works really good, I think, for myself. So I'm just going to go into some yellow here. Lots of yellow, just plain yellow. I'm going to go right into the center here. Actually below center. And let's make that a little deeper here. I think this is such a pretty start to a painting. And I'm just going back and forth across. And I also want to come down here into the water. Got to remember to hold my handle back. And as you can see, I'm using a scrubby brush. I always keep scrubby brushes on hand because for stuff like this, I don't want to be using my good brushes, although this is a fairly good one for a scrubby. Anyway, just keep coming down. And next I want to go into, let's go into, just slightly wiping the brush, let's go into a little red. Now, being that the white is underneath here, it'll pick up a little bit of the white and lighten the color some, which is absolutely delightful. Okay, and being that I don't want a pure red, let's just go up here and blend that in a little bit. I'm going to actually go down into the yellow because I want this to be kind of a warm peachy color. So working back and forth with these two colors until I get the shade that I like. These two blend very nicely together, don't they? Okay, and a little more red, mixing these reds and yellows. Let's go down just right about in here. Now this does not have to go all the way to the outer edge. I'm just going to blend this down. That is so pretty. Okay, and I think I need to come even a little bit lower because my water is going to come down quite far here, and we'll always cover it with snow anyway. Okay, and a slight more yellow up here. Right in this area. Really want this a peachy color. Yes, I like that. Very nice. Okay, next I'm going to just wipe off this brush really well. And I want to go into, excuse me, let's go into some blue, ultramarine blue. And I'm going to hit right up here at the top corners. Just a little bit for right now. And I want to wipe again. Go into a touch of this beautiful phthalo blue. That might be a bit too much, so I'm going to just tap it out. Oh yeah, oh, that is gorgeous. Wipe the brush. And just sort of feather this down into that salmon pink color. Very pretty. And we'll do that same thing down here at the bottom. I forgot to mention that color when I was giving you the supply list. And by the way, all supplies are listed below if you want to look at them, the exact colors. Beautiful. Just come up a little bit into your salmony pink color. Okay, and let's go into, let's see, a little bit more of the, just the plain darker blue. And I want to really make this darker here. And just blend it out into this other blue. A little more. How about over here? And I don't think we're going to do clouds this time, although we will probably do a little something. And just blend this in together. This is a very smooth sky. And actually, I'm going to add a touch of purple. And a little touch over here. And wipe the brush. And let's just blend this out. This just darkens the color, darkens the corner just a slight bit more. Beautiful. Okay, I really like that so far. Now let's go into, let's just keep going into this color. Let's bring this out like a little too much. Wipe the brush. Let's just tap it out here. Let's say we got some little cloud things going on in here. Just make your clouds any way you like. You don't have to follow my suggestions. And I'm just bringing this blue down a little bit. Just down a little bit further. This is original composition that I made, oh gosh, it was a long time ago, but it's one that I just really liked. And so I thought, you know, it'd just really be fun to do a tutorial on this one, since I have never done a tutorial on this one before. Okay, maybe a slight bit darker right in here, here. Got to be careful with those spots. This reminds me of my Alaska days. Always snow scenes remind me of my Alaska days. And I lived in Minnesota for a few years too, so I guess I think about that too. Okay, I have here just a small, it's a scrubby brush. Again, it's a natural bristle. I've got some white here. And I want to make, let's make a moon, oh gosh, right, I don't want dead center, but how about right in here? Not real bright. And see, by twisting the brush like that, you just get a really nice center. And I want to grab my palette knife here, go into a little bit of white, just pull that out nice and flat. Grab a little roll, and let's just come in here, since we have this, I guess you could call it a sun rather than a moon, since it's that time of a day, would be more daytime. I just want to lightly hit in the clouds here. Just a few spots here and there. Just make your spots anywhere you want them. And I'm just kind of just swishing back and forth just to kind of blend these in a little bit more. And I forgot to mention my soft bunny brush too. I love this brush. Okay, I just want to lightly go across here. Just blend this out some. See how nice those just fade right in? Just kind of blend right up in those clouds. This is too much, see this? It's too much too straight. Let's just go into a little bit here and just bring this down. Maybe we'll have some over here, just so it's not all exactly the same. There, and just blend that a little bit. Perfect, that looks very nice. Now with my filbert brush, I want to go into a little bit of green, a little bit of the dark blue, just sort of make an evergreen color. Let's even add a little brown to that because that is really, really green. And I also am going to add some white because this is going to be way distant. That's probably good right there because again it's going to blend with our background white. And so right here where I have this horizon line, imaginary, but not imaginary anymore, is it? Okay, I'm going to start making the suggestions of little bushes. So we'll start way out here because this may, some of this may show. You can make tall ones, skinny ones, fat ones. Let's go into a little more of that. Let's start on this side. And start low and graduate up so that it gradually gets lighter at the top. I don't know what kind of bushes these are, and it doesn't really make any difference. We'll we'll just keep on going and just keep adding, and don't make them all the same, make them a little bit different. And they don't have to be everywhere, you can leave some spaces in between. Now that is looking very good. Let's do a couple more here just so that doesn't look like that's all by itself, just that one sticking up there. And maybe one over here, maybe one over here, a little bit taller one, and then let's go into a little bit darker color. And a touch in here. And just make your trees any way you want them. Now let's add a little brown in here. Just for the variation of color, we don't want everything exactly identical. I'm just working back and forth from side to side. Okay, wipe that brush off. And then just start delicately making sure that these all kind of blend in together. Okay, I think that's probably good. We've got a little dark, a little light, a little brown, a little blue and green. I think that looks good. Let's go ahead and just take that bunny brush and just down here, well, let's go up here first. I'm just very lightly, because this is so far away, we want to blend this out so that it just disappears into the background. And let's just blend this out here at the bottom. There, that's nice and blurry. That's just perfect. I want you to grab a little white. And this is just on a scrubby brush, but you can use a good brush if you like. Let's just come down right here. I want to make a reflection in the water. And with a clean brush, I just want to lightly blend this out. There, just so there's a little bit of shimmer in the water. And with my larger brush, I want to go into a little brown and some white. I don't want too dark a color because this is still in the distance. And so let's try this out. Oh yeah, that's good. Okay, right under here, maybe just a hair bit darker. Let's just go ahead, and I just want to make a little bit of a landmass down here, an indication of darker. Okay, and then I want to take my bunny brush again and just lightly just go across the bottom here. With my knife, I just want to go into, just pull this white out, maybe even add a touch of blue to it, just so it's not pure white. Just grab a little roll, and let's go under here. Just tap a little bit of lightness down here. With a clean filbert, I want to start bringing in some snow from the outer edges, and so I'm going to grab, how about just a little blue, a little purple, maybe a touch of this other blue, the phthalo blue. That's really pretty. And some white, because you want to see what kind of a shade that you're actually mixing. You don't want it too dark, but you don't want it too light either. Well, that should probably be pretty good. And let's just do a kind of like a little sketch here. We'll just come in a little bit here. Maybe there's another finger coming out here. And maybe this actually will come all the way down here. And let's go on the other side, and let's bring this right, probably cover a little bit of this. Come down here. Actually, let's come out a little bit further on this side. And maybe we'll have just a little one here. Maybe a slight different one here. And we'll come right down in here. So now we have a nice little pond, and the fingers are sort of pointing in this way. Well, that looks good. Okay, so now we just want to lightly fill in. Maybe a little more white. Want to go right up here. And this is really getting dry, so I am going to use a little bit of linseed oil. And this will help it spread easier. Much better. And some of this we can have even a little bit more blue. So we've got a mix of purple and blue. And you notice that these are kind of like kind of like little curve. And I'll tell you why in just a second here. What this does is it actually helps draw your eye more into the center. Oh, this is going to be nice, 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 I think. Let's darken these edges a little bit. Lots more blue. And we're almost done with this. I want to lighten this just a little bit in here. There, that's coming along. Okay. But see, your ground always, you want to draw your eye in this way, but then you don't want to come straight across because it just would look a little bit weird. But if it's got this little bit of slant, that really, really, really helps. Okay, now we've got that sort of a background. I want to go into just some pure white now. And we're just going to go ahead and highlight the tops up here. And notice that I'm not hitting all everywhere. I'm just kind of hitting here and there. Let's go a little bit on this side here. And we'll be highlighting this some more later, so this is just the beginning stages. See, and already, see how that's kind of just drawing your eye? And the snow, you would kind of want to come down a little bit here, just here and there, like it's a little, almost like a little cliff, but it's not really a cliff. And we'll still have to put ground under here. And you know, like with all my paintings, I will probably let this dry, and then I will come in and do my real highlighting. And I still want a lot more white right in here. because this would be your light spot, so that's where I want it. Isn't that looking pretty already? Okay, just using the same brush, I'm just wiping it off, and I want to go into, again, some brown. I'm going to add a little of this blue, maybe some white, and I'll go in here. A little bit of dirt color. More blue, whoops, blue, brown, white, and as it gets closer, it would be darker. And maybe this ground even comes back up in here. I hope you don't mind the silence. I'm concentrating. Oh. Okay, here we'd have some land here. Let's go into more brown because now we'd be just a hair closer. And here, even closer yet, thus a little bit darker brown. Now you can use a brush different than a filbert. I just had the filbert handy in my hand and just decided to use it, but you can use any brush. Okay, that looks good, and I'll define that later. I'm going to go into my fan brush, and number 3. I'm going to go into a little bit of green, some of this brown, maybe even a little blue, and some white because this is in the distance. Wiggle that brush so that gets the paint in the bristles really good. And let's do just a little tiny evergreen right here. Just a little one. Just a baby. And let's do one taller right next to it here. Now I'm picking up a lot of that white, so I'm going to have to go over that more than once. Good, that's good. I like that. More brown, more blue, more green. Let's go into, how about, we're going to bring one closer. Let's go right up here. Whoops, let's try this way. See, I have a slight curve to my brush, so the way I use it is probably different than the way you might use yours. But let's just go in here, make a few spots, and I'm going to come down further into this area this time. And this is a darker color, much darker. I'm going to come and tip, leave some spaces. See, bounce, bounce, bounce. Turn the brush over. Reload. That's good. More green, brown, blue. Oops, too much blue. More brown and green, and I'm going to have to reload here. Let's have one right here. Not quite as tall as this one. And let's reload one more time. I'm going to make one more right on the edge here. This is an eye stopper. Good, okay. With the filbert, or excuse me, with the knife, let's go into a slight bit of white, pull it down, grab some of this, this brownish green color is fine. Grab a little roll. Actually, I want more brown. There, that's better. And we'll just go ahead, make a few little trunks in here. Tip the tree just by touching the tops here. And also, let's just go ahead and do like a few dead branches. You know, you always see these, you always see these in the wilderness. I also decided I want this tree to come down a little bit further, so I'm going to go into a little more blue, brown, and green and darken this up a little, and let's just bring that down a little bit. There, that's exactly what I want. Okay, and then just a hair on the trunk here. When you get too much on the trunk, like that's a little bit too light, just grab your brush and just go over some of the trunks again. Now if you have a nice little flat brush, a nice chiseled edge flat brush, that's what I'd like to go into now, and just go into just plain brown, maybe a touch of blue, And what I want to do is just make a little bit of some places here, just a little bit of a darker line. Okay, that's good. I want to do the same thing on the other side. It's just kind of where the water would break. From the land. Okay, and let me grab a paper towel here. Wipe that brush off well and just give it a little bit of a downward pull. This would be your reflections. And with your bunny brush, just give it a light little blend underneath. And like I said, we'll go over this snow a lot more, but I'll probably wait till it's dry, and then I will definitely go over and make some really nice white highlights, and even back here I'll go in and do that. Now pull out a little white with your knife and just pull it nice and flat. You probably can't see this where I'm on my palette right now, but just pulling out nice and flat, and I'm just getting a very, very tiny thin roll of paint. And I'm just going to touch, just to break up the land with the water. Be sure and keep your lines straight. Okay, now I want you to dip into a little bit of medium. Go into some white. Let's go right here next to this yellow. And we'll pull this yellow out. You've already got a lot of green in your brush, so we don't need to add more green. But we will add some of this yellow. Well, maybe we will add a little more green because that is a little bit light. Let's go ahead and add a little green. Yeah, that's good. And now we're just going to just highlight a little bit. And remember to thin it out. Use a lot of medium if you need to, so that that paint is nice and thin. Otherwise it won't stick. It'll just make a blobby mess. And the last tree here. Just blend out wherever you need to. If it didn't come out quite right, just go over it again a little bit. Oh, and probably these little ones in the background too. I forgot about those. Let's go ahead and just a little bit. Okay, good. I did not put snow on those trees, but if you like, you can sure do that. It wouldn't make any difference at all. I just need to clean off this a little bit here with my filbert brush. I want to start and I want to build up some trees here. So I'm going to start with, let's go in with some brown. And I want also some blue, just to make this a deeper brown, maybe even a touch of purple. That always makes a really nice dark brown. Okay, let's start right in here. How about we come right down here. I'm using a filbert brush. I need a little medium. I'll press harder and harder as I come down. So I had to leave this painting last night, and as you can see, it has dried out some, and so that's a bummer. But that's okay, we'll make do. Bring this down and have a little root system here. That's a nice dark color. That's good. And I want this to be even thicker yet. This is a little bit larger tree. Let's have another branch coming down from, oh, let's go up here. And I don't want this to be too straight. Oh, it's a nice strong looking tree, isn't it? Yes, I like that. Perhaps we'll have one branch coming up off here. And let's have another one coming off here. And I think we'll even have two of those just because that would be interesting. Let's have a little bit smaller one right next to it. Coming right down to there. And it gets a little bigger as it gets lower. Okay, and I think for that, just maybe just a little branch off here. And from here, just go ahead and make your branches just anywhere that you think they should be. You can cross over. Bring this one down even more. Have no idea what kind of a tree this is. I never do. I just paint whatever I think I feel like doing. And this one is in front of this one. Okay. And I think this still needs to be just a hair wider, because I want a stronger tree here. We can even have that going off the edge. And we should have something maybe right in here just to break up this right here. Okay. I'm going to set that brush aside, and now I want to go into, actually this is a Yarnell brush. I really like this because you can really load a lot of paint into it. And so I'm dipping into my oil medium, getting lots of oil medium on here. I really want to saturate this brush and bring it out, just twist it till it comes to a nice tip. Let's see if that works. Yes, okay. Don't be afraid to experiment on your palette. Okay, let's have a few more branches. Kind of jiggle sometimes as you paint these branches. Makes them look much more natural. And see how this brush just really holds a lot of paint, so it's very easy to make nice long strokes. And just go ahead and put as many of these as you want in here. Until you think it has a nice balance. Since it is late winter, or well, who knows what time of the year, but you know, you still might see a few little leaves here and there on it. You know, those last few leaves that just want to dangle and they don't want to come off the tree. There's always a couple of those. I also would like to have, let's add a little white to this. Still a dark color, but just adding a little bit of white. And let's just add a few rocks here. I'm just doing this with a brush, but if you'd rather, you can do this with a knife. I love knife work, as you know. And let's see, how about one maybe right in here? We could even have one over here. And while I'm at it, you know, it would be kind of cool to have a couple of what looks like maybe rocks in here too. With a clean filbert brush, I want to go into more snow. Now I have this thin white medium that I made earlier, and that's what I'm going to use for that. Just to highlight it a little bit for right now. So let's just lightly go in here and there. Let's bring this down here some. Right up to the dirt. See, I'm having another quiet moment here as I concentrate. I don't want to get too close to that brown because it's still wet. And if I do get too close, that's okay, I can fix it just by going over the brown some. And let's see, we did this one here. Let's do a little bit down here. Probably some snow would drift into here. Okay, and I think with the knife I'm going to do a little bit of white, pull it out nice and flat, get that little roll. Let's just hit the tops of the rocks here. And with this filbert, probably some green into this brown, spread those bristles out. And let's do like a little bit of shrub in the snow. I will definitely be going over this and highlighting some more by adding some different colors in the snow and just pretty much just tying this all in together. This is the basic picture, but you know, also while I'm looking at this, I see that this tree, this looks very huge, and it is closer, and it should be a little bigger, but I want to go into that fan brush again, and with a little green, blue, and brown. I am actually going to make this just a hair bigger, just because I think it would look better. Not something you have to do on yours. It's not going to be that much bigger, but just, you know, a little bit taller. Just, to me, it would be more balanced. And I think the same with this one here. Just a little bit. It's funny, sometimes just the tiniest little thing can make such a difference. And possibly even this little teeny one here. I don't like the way it comes right to this tree here. So let's just make that a slight bigger also. And of course, its little baby one has to be bigger also. Yes, I think that is much, much better. I see two things that look a little strange to me. The first one is this tree, actually this little, well, this big part. See this limb here is just, it's not in proportion. It doesn't look right to me. So little brown, blue, and green. Oh, I didn't want any green. That's all right. We'll put green in there. We'll make it. I wanted purple, but that's okay. This needs to be, let me get my hand out of the way here. Let's start from here. This needs to be wider to tie in with this tree, the whole tree. See, it just wasn't looking quite right. And this could probably be a little bit stronger. Okay, and this one here, this little bugger just is bugging me because it's too straight. So let's just add an extension here. And I've got to go back to my liner brush. A little purple, little blue. And let's just go ahead and bring him up here. We'll give him a couple of little twists and turns. There, and that probably is better. Yeah, I think that'll be much better. It was just too straight. It just didn't look right to me. I also decided this one absolutely has to be taller. You know why? Because it's going right into those trees, and that just does not look quite right. So let's go into a little bit of this. I'd already cleaned my brushes too. That's okay. We'll just go here and here. Isn't it neat that we can just make all these changes just whenever we feel like it? Okay. Yeah, that is definitely better as far as I'm concerned. Like I say, you don't have to do this with your trees. It's just what I wanted to do. Now with this little flat brush again, I want to go into some white here. And maybe a little thinned white also. Let's just do this. And I just want to bring a little bit of snow back here. And just sort of blend that in so that it's not a white. Just a distant kind of suggestion of snow. And with my knife, I think we're going to go in and just do a little bit of highlighting on that tree now. So I want to bring out some yellow, a little red with it. and a little white. Yeah, maybe a little more red. Kind of a pinkish red. And just get a little roll on my knife. And I'm just going to start highlighting. Right along the edge of the tree here to create that bark look. And with the small edge of the knife, we'll come right down here in front of this other one. Like so. And just put your highlights wherever you think they might be needed. And if you get like right there, it's a little too much, just go into some brown and just sort of hit in between, and that will take out that heaviness. So then on the shadow side of the tree, it would be a little more blue. So we'll go into some blue, some white, and just pull that out nice and flat. I want a dark enough blue. Ooh, let's go into some turquoise. Ooh, that would be pretty. Oh, yeah, I think I like that a lot. We'll see. We'll try it out. Oh, isn't that turquoise pretty? Yes, I like that. Small edge of the knife down here. And just maybe a couple of little places here. While I am here, I'm going to add a few little birds. So into my dark, let's do a purple, blue, into that brown. Nice dark color. And I want to add just maybe a couple here. And maybe, let's do, how about several of them over here? Maybe one up high. Another one here. I'm using a little fine liner brush for this. Let's do one here, here, here. This part of the painting is going to be relatively easy. I have here some oil medium. I'm just going to dip my brush into it. And what I want to do, and just blot it off in case you don't want too much on there. But this is just tying in all these beautiful colors together. So let's start in. We've got some of this peachy color here. I want this a little bit stronger. I don't know if you can even see this where I'm mixing, but I want this just a little bit stronger. So I'm just wiping off. I've got some. I put it on a paper towel. And too strong. Wipe it off some more. Just bringing that in just ever so slightly. This painting has been dried for a week now, so it is very, very dry. And I also want to bring a little bit of that color down into this area here. Just kind of makes it pop a little bit. Okay, there. I think I like that. That's plenty good. Also, now I want to switch colors. I'm going to just squeeze off the extra paint in this brush. And I want to go into a little bit of that turquoise blue. So I'm dipping into a little oil medium first, then a touch of the turquoise blue, because that is such a pretty color. And let's just, whoops, too bright. Still too bright. You don't want this to be overly bright, but you do want it to show up a little bit. This would be on the cooler side of the bank. This is the side that would be the shadow side of the bank. Down here you might have some shadow side. Here, here. And this did get way too bright here, so I'm going to take some of it out. And we can actually just take a paper towel, and since the painting is dry, we can just do that. Okay, I like that. And just maybe a hair more like over here. Okay, now with the pinkish color, back to that pinkish tone, and a slight bit of red, oil medium, little bit of yellow. We're just remixing that tone. Let's see if that's fairly close. I think that's fairly close. Now we're just going to hit on the tops of some of the mountain, or excuse me, not the mountain, the hillside. See how it's just coming, it's all bringing it all together now, which is exactly what we want. Perhaps there'll be a little bit on the rocks here. And just anywhere you think that you might need a little bit of this highlight color. I want to add a little bit to this tree because it looks a little weird to me. I also want to put a little bit in the trunk, so let's go ahead and get some brown and some white. Make a sort of a variegated color here. And I want to just brighten up a few places along the trunks here. Not everywhere, just a few places. Just makes it stand out better. Look at that, I got brown all over my finger. That could be a catastrophe if it got into the painting. Okay, so now, and then just with plain dark brown, maybe a touch of purple, a touch of blue, make this very dark, dark color. And I want to just bring this out more. Make this a little bit fatter right in here. Back to my little knife. I'm going to use the small edge, the small blade. And let's just pick up some of this here. Let's just come down here. Okay, and then a little bit of that bluish color. For that, we got this blue already made. So you know what I did? I just took my palette, my paper with the paint on it, I just put it in the freezer. And it will stay for weeks that way. That way I can just pull it out when I want to use it. And just a slight bit of blue here to separate those two. If you think you need to add any more white anywhere, now would be the time to do that. Just touch a little bit. Oh, you know, that might look pretty. Just a few little flickers in here. Oh, that was a mistake, wasn't it? Okay, let's just wipe that off. Too much. See, I'm glad you're seeing these mistakes because then you know how to fix them. Okay, a little bit more white. Let's just go ahead and... Okay, this is my soft white medium that I made. And now I just want to make sure that some of this snow is really, really highlighted. And I'm putting this on very, very thick. Just wherever you think A little bit of the white should be showing. This will really make it pop. And just a hair on these rocks here. What do you think? Do you like it? Are you going to try it? I hope so. It'll be a lot of fun for you. Okay, well, thank you for joining me today, and I will see you next month with a brand new painting. Bye-bye.